Hey everybody, Trainer Joe here, bringing you something fresh. We do this every week. If you want to make sure you don't miss one of these, then be sure and subscribe. Today we're talking about 3 tips to end binge eating. Have you ever binge eaten? Yeah, you probably have. Here's the deal. The only thing that has to happen for you to reach your goal weight is one thing, and that's to use the calories you take in. That's all that has to happen. So when we talk about binge eating, the reason this is important really is because this messes it all up. Okay, you can have 6 good days in a row. Let's say you got a week and you're like, I want to have a good week. And you have 6 good days in a row. And on the 7th day, you binge. That can throw the whole thing off. And we tend to think, well, I had 6 good days. I should have lost weight. Well, not if you do the numbers and you ate enough that week to gain a pound. You're going to gain a pound. It doesn't matter how good you are most of the time. If then you have this problem that's going to cause you to be over, you're over. We sometimes want to give ourselves too much credit for the good days we had. It's kind of like you've gotten to where you only rob banks once a month. That's just not going to work. You can't have this thing that takes you under. So let's deal with binge eating. And the first tip is when you are getting ready to eat something, decide before you begin. Right? Look at what you're about to eat and decide, is this enough? Because if you look at the food, you go out to eat and you look at what's on the plate. Let's say you're at a Mexican restaurant and you look at what's on the plate. You're like, is that enough? Answer the question truthfully. Yeah, that's enough. Here's the wrong answer. Well, I don't know until I eat it. Why not? You can look at an amount of food and know whether that's a sufficient amount of food or not. Because what you've done in the past is you've relied on, well, let me eat it and see how I feel. How's that work for you? Your gauge that tells you whether you're full or not is not high functioning. That is not reliable. Quit using that. You can look at the plate and say, that's enough. Regardless of how I feel after I eat that. Because then you're going to look around and say, well, there's chips over there. I think I'll eat some chips. No. If you didn't decide you were going to eat chips beforehand, you did not give yourself permission to eat them. If you think you want chips, before you start, pull aside the number of chips you think is acceptable and go there. Otherwise, you eat 2 baskets. And you're like, well, what happened? You didn't decide ahead of time. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is to cut off eating at 7:30 at night. No calories after 7:30 at night. So a lot of people will think about that and they're like, oh, so you think it's bad to eat late at night? No, it's bad to eat again. You didn't need another meal. And that's what a lot of people are having. It's this idea that I had some food, but maybe not enough. I'm going to eat it. No, you had enough. What are you going to do at night that required you to eat after 7:30? What are those calories for? What are they needed for? You have no good answer. You don't need a snack. You don't need another meal. You had enough, particularly if you have fat on your body. The fat on your body is waiting to be used, yet it's starting to get used, and you say, wait, I'm going to have a snack. Well, the snack was on your hips from a month ago, and it was getting excited that finally this is going to be used, and instead you had some pretzels and a beer at 8:30 at night that you didn't need, which brings us to our third. So cut off all calories at 7:30. Third tip is believe that you need more food as much as you need a cigarette. My daughter she went away for a year, lived in Colorado, was doing ministry, and she'd gained about 10 pounds quickly, and she called me and said, Dad, I gained 10 pounds. What do I do? I said, what happened? She said, I eat fine during the day, but at night they pass around cake in buckets. We did cake out of buckets for some reason. And I said, well, okay, so that seems to be the issue. It's pretty clear. She's like, yeah, but I can't say no. Everybody's eating it. It's fun. How do I say no to that? And it's tough sometimes because as long as something's acceptable, you're probably not going to quit doing it. And I said, well, Joey, when they pass around the cake in buckets, when you look in there and you're trying to decide if you're going to get a piece of cake out or not, don't see cake, see cigarettes. Because you need a piece of cake just as much as you need a cigarette. And you need to believe that. You have zero need for it. So would you smoke? No, because you look at smoking, you're like, well, that's disgusting. I would never smoke. Well, that's what you're doing with food. You're doing something with food that you ought to look at and say, that's disgusting, because you have zero need for it and you're heavier than you want to be. You could be burning this off your body, but you feel like, I need that. Do you? You don't need it. So end it. Guys, that's your 3 tips. And if you're like, yeah, that's good stuff, but I can't do that. Well, we offer additional help in our 21-day transformation, and you can click the link in the description and join our next one. We do one every month. It'll help you separate the truth from the lies, separate from your current destructive habits so that you can walk in a freedom that you really ought to be walking in. Be sure and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell, and we'll bring you a new video next week. And you'll be notified as long as you hit that subscription and the bell. Thanks so much. I'm Trainer Joe, helping you train your brain and transform your body.